These are the 10 types of magic. Levitation, vanish, production, transformation, transposition, penetration, restoration, escape, teleportation, and prediction.
Did his shirt change color? Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. Today's episode brought to you by Nütrl Vodka Seltzer, made with real vodka, real seltzer, real juice. It's Nütrl, the one with the umlaut. Friday, April 7th, 2023. This is The Drop. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, that's Tass Mellis.
Not to diss the dudes, but that was better than Penn and Teller for sure. Remember when we saw it? It was better. That was better.
Wow.
There's no banter.
Hey, keep an eye on our shirts today. We're going to swap shirts at some point. You won't even know. Making the magic happen over yonder, super producer, JD.
Hello.
There he is.
The shirt does change color.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
That was unbelievable. And over there at the other desk, that is our super social media superstar, Jerome Chang.
I'm going to have to run to my car to grab extra shirts for the rest of the show.
We're all changing shirts.
We're all changing shirts.
At some point on this show. All right, shout out to the stream team joining us live right now on YouTube. Like the vid, comment away, subscribe to No Dunks if you haven't done that. Grab your No Dunks merch, speaking of shirts, over at nodunks.com. Oh, it'd be cool if we all suddenly changed into this shirt. Guys, hurry. Go buy one, express ship it, and get it on. We got hoodies, t-shirts, mugs, etc. and this brand new shirt that we launched this week with Eshua rocking it at our live show in Houston. The thank you for supporting No Dunks t-shirt. Go grab that, nodunks.com. Tonight, join us on Playback. It's a little Friday night NBA watch party. Now, we got the Sixers-Hawks game featured here, but there's a ton on Tass.
Yeah.
So we'll be bouncing around. I don't think Joel Embiid is playing tonight.
No, they're done.
So once again, my dumb thumbnail does not make any sense.
No, Doc Rivers was excited after last night's game because the G League team, the Delaware Bluecoats, wrapped up their finals, and he was watching the score. He wanted them to sweep the finals so they could come play for the Sixers this weekend. They got 2 games this weekend. Yeah, they're coming up to play. These guys are done. Embiid, Harden, I assume.
Maxey.
After playing last night,
Right.
makes no sense.
Right.
They're done.
Are you
But
telling
anyways,
me
we will be jumping around, watching a bunch of games because there are a lot of playoff implications. It's quite easy. This might be featured on our thumbnail, but it doesn't mean anything. We're going to be, it's easy to click around on Playback. It's a blast. We might even take in some Masters if we're in there early.
Hold on.
Masters looking great.
Really?
Right now.
Yeah, I guess it's the second day. What time are we starting, in theory, tonight?
7:30.
7:30, okay.
ET.
7:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll get that link in the show notes.
Do they golf at night?
Yeah.
Well, no.
I said if they start there, or if we start early enough.
Right.
You know, we're here in Georgia, the sun sets pretty late, JD.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, they
we
got
can
some
get some
nasty weather
late
coming
golfers.
up here.
Oh, that's
in
true.
Augusta.
So that might
be
play.
some
You might have to
delays.
get a push for Friday Night SmackDown.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh.
God, I forgot about that. Yeah, sure. We will do 30 seconds of Friday Night SmackDown. You can guarantee it. Anyway, join us tonight. That'll be a blast. Check out yesterday's No Buffs podcast. If you're a Survivor fan, recapping episode 6 of Survivor 44. It was just JD and myself. We had a blast, though.
Great time.
Chopping it up. You guys sent in great questions in tree mail, and we got into our No Buffs fantasy survivor pool and reminded you of a few things in terms of as we now hit the merge in Survivor of particular swaps you can do and stuff like that. So go check that out. Thanks to everybody that joined us live. We have a small but loyal group always
loyal.
there on Thursdays. And we were ticking up to 3,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's
great.
For No Buffs. That has its own YouTube feed, its own podcast feed. So if you're a Survivor fan, highly recommend you check it out. And this weekend, final little piece of housekeeping here. We are re-releasing the next installment from our 2021 summer podcast series. Fast Friends, up next. Oh, it's one of our favorites.
Yeah.
Maybe the best movie
I think it's the best of the
in the
bunch.
entire franchise, 2011's Fast Five. And on this one, we had special guest Matty O
Yes.
jumping on the horn. So that will drop probably Saturday morning, but you will see it at some point this weekend in your No Dunks podcast feed as we make our way up to Fast X, Fast 10, coming in about mid-May. So we're like halfway there once this one goes up, right?
I can't decide if I'm dreading it or looking forward to it.
Dreading going to see Fast X and podcasting about it? Are you kidding me?
Kinda.
I mean,
Fast
it will
9 was
probably
such
be
a
shit,
slog.
yeah, but
Yeah.
that's half the fun.
I mean, Jason Momoa as the villain, I feel, is very promising.
I agree.
True,
Agree.
true. And everybody's in it.
Not The
Jerome-
Rock.
The
Or is
Rock
The Rock
isn't. Well, you never know. You never know.
You never know.
You
The
never
promo
know.
was great.
Yeah.
The promo was great. We watched it together here. I remember. I got way
I'm
too
pumped.
excited.
I'm pumped to, obviously. I've been listening, re-listening to all of these that we post on the weekends. They're long.
This one in particular, I think, when Matty-O joins, I think it's over 2 hours.
Yeah, this might be the longest.
Yeah.
But it's a great movie. Matty-O had a lot of insight.
Wow.
And I think I was in Toronto at the time, too.
Oh,
I
were
think
you?
I'm in an
Really?
Airbnb recording this one, if I remember correctly.
Is that why you run for so long? Because these shows are so
That's
long?
the
You
only
just
reason I
keep
run.
going? Just keep listening?
Some of us lie down near the pool to listen to a podcast. Others hit the road to listen to one.
All right.
all
Great
right.
promos. Great promos from the Fast X friends, from us just now. We're going to see Joel Embiid. No, we're going to see Mac McClung tonight. I
He's
assume.
not played yet, has he? In a
He has
Sixers
not
uniform.
played, but
yeah.
I assume he's going to play tonight.
He's a two-way guy. Wow.
I assume. He'll be
We'll get a
big dunk.
McClung in it. He was
Okay.
good last night.
Okay, great.
As
If
they
I'm
won.
McClung, I'm just shooting threes the whole night, just like really just subverts the expectation.
Oh, yeah. Good call.
He was stroking it last night.
Yeah.
Surprising.
All right. On today's Drop Podcast, though, let's get into it. We're going to touch on last night's NBA games. That's enough G League talk. And we will get you all set for the final weekend of the NBA regular season. Yes, this is the final weekend of the regular season. Then we get into the play-in games next week, and then we start the playoffs next weekend. It's wild. Tass, you got worst of the week.
Yep.
And we'll end with a little rapid-fire fun. But we start today's Drop with us looking at some Twitter polls that we posted yesterday, because by Monday, everyone with an official NBA awards ballot, they got to make their picks when it comes to all these major awards. I think it's like Monday at 6 p.m. is when they have to get it in. So this will probably be the final time we actually talk about these award races until we find out the winners of each respective award. So we thought, let's throw up a poll. Let's try and predict it, see where the people are voting, and whether you agree or disagree on sort of who's getting selected overall. So let's just start with Rookie of the Year. We had over 1,000 votes, sometimes over 2,000 votes in each of these polls. So a pretty significant opinion from you guys, and thanks to everybody for voting on @NoDunkSync Twitter account. Are those polls going away, by the way? Is Musk taking those away if we don't have Twitter Blue? I think that's what's happening.
Yeah, you have to be verified, right?
Supposedly.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
good thing we snuck this in. Rookie of the Year, here are the results. We'll read these for everyone listening to the podcast. Paolo with 75%. Oh, I will say, some of these poll results, because of the graphic, the template we were using, we couldn't use decimals. So you will see in a couple of these instances, it's maybe over 100%. But, we're rounding up, rounding down.
Don't worry if the math isn't mathing.
Exactly.
Apologies to Trey, who's in the stream team, I think, and he's watching. So he's our math. He's anal about maths.
Yeah, well, you should be.
Well, this
Of
one's
course,
This
I
one's
agree.
100. We're good.
Yeah, this one's good. I know they.
No
I know
one was
as we
going to
move-
notice, actually, if you didn't.
That's
I don't
bullshit.
know, yeah.
People would have noticed.
Okay.
They noticed everything. My shirt just changed, but no one's noticed that. You're right, Pass. Okay, Paolo, 75% Rookie of the Year. Then you see Jalen Williams at 12%, Walker Kessler at 8%. I put Keegan Murray on this poll as the fourth option. I got a lot of blowback from the Pacers fans. Where's Benedict Mathurin? Even Pistons fans. Where's Jaden Ivey? It's like, okay, guys, look, Keegan Murray, Ivey, Mathurin, they're not winning this thing. It doesn't really matter. But anyway, Paolo, 75% of the vote, Tass. Are you
Great job,
surprised at all?
everybody. Great job. Really great job by everybody. We're going to get to some others here where these polls have been swayed late in the season, I think, by some performances, some fan bases. But this one doesn't need to be swayed at all. Whether you have, as your fourth, as you said, a Keegan or a Benedict, all these guys were really solid.
Yeah.
I think overall the 2022-23 class has not been what last year's has been, but aside from that pessimistic point of view, these guys have all been really, really good. But there's only been one winner, and that's Paolo Banchero. So I'm happy that the fans just kept it simple here.
Yeah.
We don't got to go nuts.
It is nice that Jalen Williams, especially J-Dub there in OKC, and even Kessler to some extent, have at least made it somewhat more of a race, because it was over for like the first 4 months. I mean, I guess Mathurin through the first couple weeks had everybody going, oh, could he do it? But yeah, Paolo just with like just the heavy lift he has to do on that OKC match or Orlando Magic team has been impressive. I loved Michael DePodpina writing about him. He said Banchero's looked like a cross between DeMar DeRozan and Blake Griffin, because he's smooth. He loves the contact. He lives at the free throw line for a rookie. Only 8 players have attempted more free throws than Paolo this year. That's incredible. Only 29 rookies in league history have ever taken more. So I love that description there. And yeah, for the entire season, yeah, his three-point shot isn't incredible. That'll tick up over his career. But it's been at least a nice final month here, or a half, with Jalen Williams getting sort of more minutes, more opportunity, leading that team possibly, or help leading that team to a play-in position there in the West. And then Kessler's defense can't be overlooked. It's nice.
It's nice.
It's better. It's better than just them running away with it. Though I think that's going to be a sort of the result he gets here. I don't think will it be a unanimous? Will he get every first place vote, or will there be the odds sprinkling in there for a Williams or possibly a Kessler?
There shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I don't think there should be.
Okay.
And yeah, unfortunately, Benedict Mathurin, usually you've got to play well at the end of the season to get a lot of recognition. It sort of worked in reverse for him. He came out hot and slowed down. So there's enough rookies out there.
Still gets his points.
Yeah.
Still gets his numbers.
But he dropped off big time. He was shooting like 45% from three for the first couple months, which means ending at 32. Here's some math. He shot very poorly the last couple months of the season. So it balanced out in a negative way for him. Either way, yeah, this is Banchero's to lose.
Yeah.
Is there any real argument to put Jalen Williams, Walker Kessler, Keegan Murray as your first place vote? No. A team can be run by Paolo Banchero. That's not easy to say for many rookies ever. I mean, you can say that about usually just your rookie of the year, and that's clear here, and that's it. Mm-hmm. He should be number one.
All right, let's move on to sixth man of the year. The 4 candidates we had for you to vote on last night and into this morning were Malcolm Brogdon, Bobby Portis, Norman Powell, and Emmanuel Quickley. And this one, the tightest result we had, Brogdon just eked it out. We actually had to drop Quickley there. Like we said, we couldn't put decimals on this particular template, but he was 37.5%, and Brogdon just above them with about 38 point something percent. So very, very close between these two guys. Bobby coming in third, Norman Powell in fourth. Would this be your pick, Tass? Would it be Brogdon? Would it be Quickley, someone else?
I think he's had the best season. Malcolm Brogdon has had the best season. Unfortunately, he probably hasn't had the best Twitter narrative over the last couple months. It's been Emmanuel Quickley, and that's why the odds have changed so much. This is a non-sexy award. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of sexiness in the awards, but this is a non-sexy one. So I think it can be swung the most by conversation, by voters, and I think that's what's happened here with Emmanuel Quickley. He hasn't had the best season out of all these 4 guys. He's been really, really good, but you see him in the odds out there as the leader. He shouldn't be the leader. But Knicks fans, even though they didn't show up at All-Star Weekend voting for Brunson and Randall, they showed up here and they've swayed the voting odds and the conversation. But Malcolm Brogdon has been the best player of all these 4. Norman Powell, I think, was phenomenal until he got injured, really. I think that was a real race. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the Quickley scenario is great for him. There aren't many guys who say a sixth man is my favorite player of the year, and that's what he said when he came into the league. He said Lou Williams is my favorite player of all time, I should say. That was his guy. Lou Williams was his guy. When he met him on the floor, he said, my God, I was starstruck. And so that's pretty cool. He's in the same conversation as Lou Williams here. He is a sixth man of the year candidate. Will he be a sixth man for his whole career? Who knows? He's been really, really good, developed into that. But Broggy Dog even though it hasn't been sexy, especially because he's playing on the Celtics where there's so much star power. He has been the most solid and would be my pick.
Okay. I think what's interesting about Quickly, as like you said, the favorite right now when it comes to like betting on this, the weird part to me is, should we not, it's going to sound strange, but should we remove the players' starting minutes and games and stats?
I don't
from
think
the
that
equation?
sounds strange.
Because Quickly's numbers have been inflated because of Brunson's injury and Quickly having an opportunity to start, recently. And he's dominating as a starter, which has helped, obviously, his overall numbers. As a starter, if you check his splits, Quickly, 22 points per game, 5 boards, 5 assists, 19 games. Like, it's not the tiniest sample size here. It's like a quarter of the season. Pretty damn good. Shooting lights out, a true shooting percentage over 60%. As a reserve in 60 games, so still a majority coming off the bench, a much more pedestrian 12, 4, and 3. Those are like actually worse numbers than like a Brogdon. So it's like it's just an interesting little dynamic here to me, where he's helped out to win the Sixth Man of the Year by starting, right?
100%.
And no knock on him, he's incredible. He will be a starter in this league. I think that's he's still so young. He obviously gives it on the defensive end as well.
Yeah, he's developed into a different player.
But it's just sort of strange.
It is strange, totally. I think they should be removed. It is a Sixth Man of the Year award. But I understand why people are extremely excited about him because, as you mentioned, the defense has been a factor. He's playing for Tibbs because he plays hard on that end.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, he has been very good. And, I wonder if he is just better in that sixth man role, depending on the team that he's on. But, I can understand why Knicks fans are extremely excited because they see those starting numbers and they say, gosh, this guy should be the Sixth Man of the Year, but they shouldn't count, Skeets. I don't think that's crazy to say. Why should they count?
I mean, like, that would be the case for like someone like Bobby Portis too. When he starts, again, he started about almost similar to Quickly, right? About a quarter of the season, give or take. I think it's 21 games Bobby started. His numbers are better in the starts. You get more opportunity. You're out there with better players. He's like a 17 and 11 guy when he starts. More of a 13 and 9 guy when he comes off the bench. Now, I think those are really good. I think there's also, like, when it comes to six man, a lot of voters, they just like immediately think guard, scoring guard. And it's tougher for the big guys like Bobby Portis to get some love. I saw people in the stream team yesterday before the show even started sort of going to bat like, why is there not more support for Bobby Portis for Sixth Man of the Year? Like, he's basically like a 14 and 10 guy on the best team in the league. But it's like he's like sort of forgotten. I was almost surprised he even got whatever it was, like 15% of the vote there. So happy to see that, but it is strange.
I don't know. Montrezl Harrell won it a few years ago in 20.
Yeah, and then who? It's like Lamar Odom.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like twice in the last 20 years. A big guy.
Yeah. At the same time, I understand the Quickly phenomenon. I think it should be those three guys, and Quickly, Powell, and Brogdon as the leaders.
Okay.
I'm fine with that. Congrats to Quickly. He had a phenomenal year. He's developed a lot. And congrats to Broggy Dog. He is a guy who could also, in the same argument, be starting for a lot of teams.
Oh, of course.
His numbers are ridiculous. They experimented in Indiana sort of as a number one guy after his Milwaukee run, where he was phenomenal supporting Giannis Antetokounmpo in a starting role. The 50-40-90 season, goes to Indiana. Didn't excel as a starter. The numbers dropped a little bit because it was a lot on his shoulders to be the number one. Of course. So he was. He is excelling as a six man, shooting 44.4 from three. The numbers are just too good.
Yeah.
He almost had a 50-40-90 almost this season as well. So I think he's been a little steadier.
And he has come off the bench in every single game he's played in for the Boston Celtics. We'll see if voters care at all. It sounds like it's going to be, or feels like it's going to be Brogdon or Quickly. Yeah. I think that one could be a very, very tight, result here.
And it all depends when the voters get their ballot, what kind of mood they're in, if they're thinking about the beginning of the season. Yeah, I think it changes from voter to voter here. Because I understand people would be in Quickly's pocket because of how he's come on late. Brogdon was a story at the beginning of the season. Do you take it all into account, or you take the last half into account?
It's like Brogdon has just been like steady Eddie, it feels like, all season long. That's Brogdon in a nutshell, right? Yeah. Where Quickly has these higher highs, where he goes for like a 30-point game. Madison Square Garden's going nuts, and it's like especially recently that has happened.
Yeah, he had a 40.
He had a 40.
Because he was starting.
Yeah. Next one here, Coach of the Year. Here's what the people said by way of Twitter at NoDunksInc. Mike Brown running away with this one. Look at the graph, 85%. Huge winner here, according to No Dunks fans, and I think this is probably going to be the way it goes, Tass. I don't think, Marc Dagnon with the Thunder, Will Hardy with the Jazz.
I like the French pronunciation of Digno.
Yeah,
give it a Dagno.
What do you agree with this, I have to guess?
I do think Mazzulla should get more credit, even though he came in and had a great roster to suit up with. Hey, the Boston Bruins have a first-time head coach. They ran away with the President's Trophy. Boston's having a good time here.
He might set the all-time record. I saw the Bruins.
But you get points for overtime losses now. Is it really a record?
But don't they have the ability to also have the most wins ever?
They do. Yeah,
okay,
they've been really
wins or wins.
Yeah, but they play more games than the team that had the most wins now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, different era in the NHL. Anyways, let's talk about the NHL. We were talking about the G League. We're talking about the NHL. Let's talk about the NBA. Mazzulla came in with a lot of pressure when Ime Udoka was let go. People wondered, can a first-time head coach here do it? Udoka did it as first-time head coach, and now Mazzulla's doing a great job. So him, I think, it hurt a little bit by just his roster. Will Hardy, I think, hurt in this voting because they basically gutted that team. And you see who they're playing last night against the OKC Thunder with injuries now as well. On top of gutting that team, Will Hardy has done a phenomenal job. So, yes, they're below 500 now and are going to finish outside of the play-in tournament picture. But I think he should be up there with Mike Brown in terms of the job that he did. But, Mike Brown has been great. Obviously, you shed that label of consecutive seasons not making the playoffs. He has been superb. It's obviously coincided with the growth of De'Aaron Fox. And at the same time, he's put guys like Herter and Murray and Monk in positions to succeed, and they absolutely have.
Yeah, they added to that roster in the offseason. Herter, Monk, that was just great additions. They get Keegan Murray, all that. But Fox and Sabonis did play together last year, and they were not lighting it up. I mean, I think it was like a 5-8 record when both of them were out there. So Brown is winning this. He should. Not only does he break the Kings' 16-year playoff drought, the longest in professional sports, but it's not him squeaking in here. It's not them like just getting into the 6th seed or even the play-in, and who knows if we would have even counted that. They're the West number 3 seed. They just won the Pacific Division. Like, they did it with a bang. So he's going to win this. I did see Michael Pina had a great sort of write-up on what you were saying, Joe Mazzulla maybe deserving a little more credit. Yes, the roster stacked. It went to the finals and all that. But what he accomplished in his first year, this is Pina breaking it down. Robert Williams III only played 18 games. Maybe one of their best players, of course, defensively. They're still going to finish with the second best record in the league. Top net rating. One of the only teams, maybe the only team with a top 5 and top 5 offense and defense. And they won more games. They won more games than they did last year. That's something in the regular season. You convinced Brogdon to come off the bench. Obviously, he'd been a starter for a majority of his career. There was rumors around Jaylen Brown during the offseason. We're going to trade him for Kevin Durant. He never lost his sort of attention. He's going to make an all-NBA team for crying out loud. So he did a lot of things right here. People also will point at things Mazzulla does wrong, rotations, not calling timeouts, stuff like that. As a rookie coach, could it get them in trouble in the playoffs? We'll find out when things get really, really tight, where a coach could actually sort of lose you a game. I mean, we could see that happen. But regular season-wise, for a guy that was an intern for, half the year, he deserves to be on the list, I think. I don't think he's going to win it. It's going to go to Mike Brown. But good stuff there from
Mike Brown.
Pina
has defied expectations a lot more, and that's who the winner usually goes to in this case, because do we really know what coaches do? Nah. So the coach that defied the expectations the most defies our brains the most. But obviously, all three of these guys, and we didn't talk much about Mark Digno, but he deserves a ton of credit for getting this young team to play together, to get this tiny, tiny, tiny team to play a lot larger than they are. They've been phenomenal.
He looks a lot like my Uncle Al. I got to get a photo of them split screen. It's quite crazy to me how similar they look. Let's go to most improved player. The poll results for this one, pretty close. Our 4 nominees were Brunson, Claxton, Shea, and Lauri Markkanen. And in the end, the people think Lauri Markkanen deserving of MIP. SGA coming in there, not too far behind. Pretty comfortable second place. Then Brunson with 10%. Claxton getting a few votes. Markkanen or SGA, Tass?
I think the people out there, sort of like the Mike Brown situation with Coach of the Year, see Lowry and are more surprised by the year that he put up than Shea. I think Shea is probably I wouldn't say a better case, but a little bit more difficult to do, to go from really, really good to freaking great. To be, in the peripheral of the MVP candidacy. So
yeah, he's going to get some end of the ballot MVP votes. SGA
Sure.
is. You're going to see his name there, probably, coming in 6th, 7th, 8th or something like that. That's pretty special.
Yes, and Markkanen has just dropped off in terms of the casual fan or the NBA fans sort of psyche. For a while, he was the third big man in Cleveland last year, starting at small forward, didn't have a lot of opportunities. And so I think that's why people are just sort of surprised by what he's done. Hell, I was surprised by what he did in terms of being able to do it all season long. Now he's going to go into the military in the offseason to complete his duty. What a guy. He has had just a really, really a year where, defied expectations. Even I know he was drafted in the top 10, and people thought he would be good. Whether it was the Boylan effect in Chicago, he didn't become the same player. Will Hardy obviously deserves a lot of credit for what he's become, but even his time in the summer playing for Finland, I'm sure, helped just get his confidence up, because, man, the guy was doing it from freaking everywhere on the floor, and he didn't stop. He played until his hand got injured here and gave this Jazz team that was gutted night in and night out an opportunity to win.
Both guys having, obviously, all-star seasons, all NBA seasons. I think they'll both ultimately make one of those top 3 teams. Lauri Markkanen will be helped out by sort of like the fewer choices maybe when it comes to forwards. He'll probably make a third team, I think. SGA should be a lock, in my opinion, for one of the guard spots. But, yeah, will the voters say, sort of more impressive to go from 15 points per game in Lauri Markkanen's case to then 25 and that all-star nod there when it was in SLC, or what Shea has done a little bit along the lines of John Morant winning this award, which was to go from 24.5 points per game last year to 31.4 points per game. Like, Lauri Markkanen just took himself to the SGA level of last year, and SGA just went, to the elite status in this league. My gut would say, 15 years ago, it would be Lauri Markkanen easily, because that's sort of where this award went. But recently, it is more the, from good to really great.
The Morant, the Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, that stuff. So this one, I think the poll results we showed you, I think it's actually, Markkanen may still win, but I think it's going to be closer than that 30% difference or something that
I'm
we
with
saw
you.
there.
I got a question about this.
Yeah.
Would you guys factor in the fact that Lauri Markkanen switched teams? So he had a new situation that may have facilitated it.
Sure.
Like for Shea, he's doing it on the same team and hitting another level in relatively the same situation.
Yeah. It comes into consideration
before,
and we've seen that with former MIP winners too. Like just getting more minutes, going to a different team. This wouldn't be the first time if he does win it where something like that has happened.
Yeah, it's a great point.
But
you did it within the system that you're already in, while Lowry changed teams, totally changed roles, and he became a new player in this league. But Shea did it. Yeah, in the same confines. So I'm totally with you. I love the Canadian bias that we have going on in this room. But yeah, I do think it's a taller task to go from.
It's also
good.
a red boots bias in this specific year too.
Fashion. Yeah. Well, Lauri Markkanen. SGA's got a beat there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, I think with this poll, Shea really, really peaked early in the season. He obviously kept it going throughout the entire season, but his storyline and this conversation around Shea, it peaked probably in December, January.
He was hitting game winners. Yeah.
The conversation for sure. The Google Trends, how much he was mentioned. It was earlier in the season than Markkanen was peaked around All-Star Weekend, probably just a little bit later in the season, and the surprise factor, I think, is where this poll is going.
What's special about both of them, though, is they both come out of the gates and everyone's like, whoa, holy crap, like, hold on, SGA is going to average over 31 points per game? No way, that'll come back to earth. It didn't. Same thing with Larry Markkinen. There was that stretch where I was like, oh, Jesus, man, this guy's like winning games for them, scoring, basically putting up 25 and 10s in his sleep, and everyone's like, don't worry, this won't last long. And it did. Mm-hmm. So, kudos to both these guys for maintaining it really all season long. And then they were battling down to the final week to determine who was going to get into a potential play-in spot. And it looks like, I wonder if that even helps SGA's chances to win this, with his team just eking out.
Yeah.
Larry Markkinen.
And I don't think, I would hope that the voters aren't swayed by the narrative and when people were talking about them, but I know I was. It was a few weeks ago when De'Aaron Fox was kicking ass, especially, and taking this team closer and closer to a playoff position. And I thought, well, he's going to get a spot over Shea when it comes to the All-NBA voting. I was just caught in the moment. But Shea deserves to be one of the top 6 guards when it comes to All-NBA.
Yeah, we won't do All-NBAs here today, but it will be weird if we have 2 All-NBA guards that didn't even make the play-in. And I'm talking Luka and Dame. That'd be strange, in my opinion. But it's a
Dame doesn't meet the threshold anymore.
Well, I mean, that's not in play yet, is it? All right, Defensive Player of the Year. 2 more awards here. Let's see the results. Not that. No, definitely not that.
We just saw an ad if you're listening on a podcast.
It's not ad time yet. Defensive Player of the Year.
Get us ad-free on The Athletic. theathletic.com/nodunks.
Jaren Jackson Jr., the people say, deserving of a DPOY. That would be his first. 44% of the vote. Brook Lopez, Bucks big man, coming in a close second, 38%. Draymond Green, 12%. Evan Mobley, 7% in fourth. It was a little difficult to determine the 4 names outside of, after Jackson Jr. and Brook Lopez, it was like, who else do you sort of include in this? Do you make a case for
Mobley deserves to be on there.
That's good. I'm glad I did. But it's like, Drew Holiday, Bam, Embiid, Giannis. There's a lot of talented defensive players. OG, I guess, maybe. But anyway, what do you think about Jaren Jackson Jr. getting this?
I don't usually think that this is a sexy award, but I think this has entered the sexy conversation. I think this is an actual debate, which type of player you want. And there's 3 good candidates. Mobley is the third of all 3 candidates because he plays with Jared Allen. And you'd think, Jared Allen's their best defensive player. But a few years ago, Giannis Antetokounmpo, playing alongside Brook Lopez, won this award. And I think it's the same sort of scenario with Mobley and Jared Allen. Mobley is the more dynamic guy. He leads the league in most contested 3-point shots. He's 7 feet tall. Like Giannis, he can guard anywhere.
Yeah.
And that's a special number. So I think he's sort of like Giannis beside Brook Lopez, him beside Allen. Brook Lopez is the guy that you're scared of when you go into the paint, and he has defended the most shots. You go check the hustle numbers on NBA.com, and those ring true. I mean, he has been really special, and that's why I think he wins this award. Because Jaren Jackson Jr., he's got the storyline with the block shots. There's no doubt. I think the games played and the minutes played should hurt him.
Yeah, the minutes especially.
Yeah, he's only played 62 games to this point, so he wouldn't meet that new threshold. But also, the minutes played, part of that is foul trouble. Part of that is the way the Grizzlies just run their rotations, just minimizing his minutes. But also because he's had to play a lot of 5 with Steven Adams out, and he does get into foul trouble because he does go after those blocks a lot. So it's all the type of player that you want. And I think Brook, for me, probably gets it, even though he doesn't have the dynamism of Evan Mobley going out to the perimeter. But I don't know. He's my steady Freddy, a guy who hasn't won this award yet in his career, but I think he should get one.
Yeah, our guy Shu, I saw making his picks on NBA.com with a bunch of other NBA writers. It is this Jaren Jackson versus Brook Lopez sort of debate here, and a big part of it is Brook has played 600 more minutes than Jaren Jackson Jr., and he's defended nearly 900 more shots than Jaren Jackson Jr. So we get into this whole, availability is the best ability. How much do you care about that? when Jaren Jackson Jr. plays, Grizzlies defense, elite. I think it's maybe the best in the league. But he's not out there as much as some of these other guys. Pino was making the case for Draymond Green to win this, despite the Warriors being like the 19th best defense in the league. But it's no fault of Draymond. It's when he plays, they have the best defense. And Draymond Green, you talk about the switchability factor, obviously the communication factor. He can do it all defensively. He hasn't won one of these in like 6 years at this point. I don't think he's going to win it, but he was making a case where I was like, geez, he is a damn good defender.
That's a good Pina case right there. That is a good case. I do think being on the floor should matter a lot.
Yeah.
It's not fun to talk about that. That reduces the sexy level for me when you get into the Schumann stats. Love you, Shu. This ain't sexy though. But really, it is important. Brook Lopez nearly has double the amount of contested shots than Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah.
Double? That is crazy. That he is there to contest every shot, like 450 more than the next guy, Nick Claxton. That's basketball. That's defense. I mean, that's pretty freaking important. So I do think that should factor in. Although he doesn't get up to the 3-point line as much. It helps having Giannis beside him as well. It helps having Drew beside him as well.
That's why I wonder if Brook Lopez does ultimately win this award. Because sometimes they look at this, the voters do, as almost a team award. I think Marcus Smart was a perfect example of that last year. He was a great defender. He was a pest. But he was also like surrounded by other good defenders. So it's almost like you're rewarding the team in a weird way by giving it to Smart last year. You know, you're giving it in a weird way to Robert Williams III and Horford and Jaylen Brown to some extent and stuff like that. So it's like, could that happen with Brook? It goes to Brook, but that's also sort of a nod to Giannis and to Drew Holiday and the defensive scheme that Bud has in place there.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you could say the same thing. You know, Dylan Brooks is a good defender. Everybody hates him, but he is a good defender. They are an elite defense. So giving a vote to Jaren Jackson Jr., it also does that. This one's going to be tight as well.
That's why people will say Mobley should win, because he's making up for some mistakes by Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland and helping out there. It's a fun debate this year.
Pick your poison.
Usually isn't that fun, I don't think, but it's got more fun. And the Draymond Green argument is a good one.
Final one, MVP. We've talked about this every third day, it feels like, on podcasts. Always checking in, always wondering who's in the lead, who is sitting at the MVP table, who has the menu in their hand, who is ordering the wine. Well, in the end, again, over 2,000 votes by way of our Twitter account, Joel Embiid. 66% if we're playing with the rounding up a little bit.
How many bots voted in this? That's what I want.
2/3. Oh, wow. I hadn't even thought about that. Maybe Maury's got a bunch of multiple accounts. He's got something running in the background. But Joel Embiid, 66%. Incredibly, Giannis coming in next at 19%, and then Jokic 14%, and then Tatum getting we rounded up a little bit. It's like really 1.5%. So a distant fourth, but what do you think, Tass?
Well, I think this vote here indicates a couple of things. There's just sway here with the end of the season. Jokic being third because he's sort of fallen off. His team's not played as well. His numbers haven't been as great. So I think that's part of it. Also, there's just voter fatigue in a couple ways. There's voter fatigue for Giannis and Jokic winning this thing multiple times. So give it to Embiid. Also, voter fatigue just throughout this season. They're just kind of done. People are just like,
over it.
I'm not factoring in here Jokic's all his stats, all his advanced stats, all his metrics. I'm just giving it to the guy who's doing great right now, and that's Embiid, who just dropped 50. And they don't necessarily care about what Jokic has done all season, and that it has been a historical season. So I think that's why this vote is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're not going to really care who ultimately gets it, right? Like, you're not going to be coming on the podcast here, like, flipping the table, going, what?
I hear what you're saying.
What? Like, you're just going to be like, yeah. Of course, any one of those three guys, those main guys, win it. You're going to be like, absolutely. Dominant.
I will flip a table if they give it to Jokic while he's riding his horse. I don't want to see that. I want to see a real award ceremony.
What, in front of people?
Humans.
Crowds.
Not just
no more
not
horses.
just this camera person who may have been hired by the league peripherally, but like a good camera person with audio equipment. I want to hear Jokic talk. Last year, Jokic was petting his horse, and we didn't hear anything. We didn't hear him say anything. I want to hear Jokic. I want to hear an Embiid line or two.
Okay.
So, and when Embiid wins it, I hope he's got some lines, right? Like I just don't want him to get him even in if it's in the, I don't know, they'll do something like on the practice court quite often,
Hey,
right?
hold on. If Embiid wins this, Philly's going to throw a damn parade.
Yeah, yeah, but they could give it to him on the practice court while they're all in their huddle, and they surprise him with it.
Sure.
They're doing this thing now. They'll hopefully interview him. They'll get Ernie to interview him on TNT. I just want a little bit of flourish.
Do you think here in the final couple days that he is going to get a majority of the votes, that Embiid will win his first MVP?
I guess people didn't care that he didn't play against Jokic last Monday. People don't care anymore. That happened. That was one day. Yeah, that's gone.
And then he lost to Giannis, didn't he?
Yeah, he sure did. The Bucks took care of them. And we're talking about Embiid and how they got romped by the Heat, and there was a 3-2 zone there, and Giannis was doing an incredible job. If you want to get into the nitty-gritty of taking the pocket pass away, he had his hand like dragging on the floor, making sure Harden wasn't giving Embiid the ball when they're running their pick and roll, wasn't dropping him his patented bounce pass. So that's what the Sixers have to deal with, and I think Sixers are going to sit these last couple days and sit their stars these last couple days and get them fresh for the postseason. And yeah, I assume Embiid's got the narrative right now. There's no doubt about that. He's obviously got the stats, being the points per game leader back-to-back seasons and kicking ass.
He plays defense. You could have included him, for crying out loud, maybe on that Defensive Player of the Year list.
And I think it helps. Everybody's talking about him, not only just on the internet, but his coach, his organization, himself.
Yeah.
And he's getting it from other players too. I shouldn't just make it sound like it's just this inside job here. Jimmy Butler just said, yeah, he should have won last year. A lot of players just watch what he does and the way he carries his team, which is a little bit scary for the Philadelphia 76ers, and that he has to do so freaking much. I think when you look at it, Maxey was out last night, so that plays a factor, but a little bit worrisome that he has to do so much.
We'll find out. They only got a couple days left, and then those 100 or so voters fill out their ballots. I just wonder if this will be the closest MVP race of all time. Are we going back to like 89-90 there, where it was Magic eking out Barkley and Jordan was in third place that year, and that was the weird one where, incredibly, Barkley had more first-place votes than Magic Johnson, but not total votes. Imagine that were to happen. That would be wild. I guess it could.
It could.
I
think there's a little of that with Embiid.
Yeah.
Either you really, 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 really respect it, or sometimes you think Jokic and Giannis, and that's the worrisome part with the Giannis factor coming into this with Embiid is that Embiid's had a great season, Jokic had a great season, and people might just say, I'll just give it to Giannis. He's the best player.
You've been saying that for about a month now, and I wasn't
have said
buying
it a lot.
But I'm like coming around a little bit to it. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Well, it hurt. I think it hurts Giannis's case for this sneaking in that Jokic has kind of dropped off. So Jokic and Embiid aren't as close right now.
Interesting.
So there isn't I don't know what to vote for. I'll just give it to Giannis. Embiid has run away with this last few weeks.
Okay.
few weeks.
Yeah. Well, let's take our first break. Thanks to everybody that voted in those polls. Let's hear whether or not you agree or disagree with the results, and maybe some names that were not even on the ballot. I know people love to get upset about that. We'll take our first break. When we come back, we'll quickly go through last night's games and get you teed up for the final weekend of the regular season. Don't go anywhere. This is a public service announcement for the hard seltzer lovers. Listen up, Nütrl Vodka Seltzer has arrived. Well, if you're a fan of this show, you know it's been here. It's been here for a minute.
Weeks ago.
Yeah.
We do full live shows
That's
based
right.
on this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But for you newcomers, sure, Nütrl Vodka Seltzer has arrived. Made with simple ingredients like vodka, seltzer, real juice, Nütrl just tastes good. Like real good. So good that you'll never want to drink another artificial tasting seltzer again. You can kick that crap to the curb. That stuff out of the playoffs, not even in the play-in. Nütrl's locked up the #1 seed when it comes to the hard seltzers. Its light and refreshing taste will show you what a vodka seltzer can be. There are a variety of real fruit flavors. My personal favorite, it's at the top of my leaderboard right now, the blackberry lemonade.
Oh, so good.
I've heard so many good things about the lemonade.
Just thinking about it right now.
I got one, Skeets, if you want one.
I mean, it's early, but crack it. It's rich and earthy, yet crazy refreshing. Especially here in this hot Atlanta weather. Sipping that on the porch.
Well, I put it on ice.
Oh, that's
Pour
a
it
great-
over
oh,
ice.
That's a good
See,
call.
this for us Torontonians coming out of the winter. So you're telling us like this is the drink to look forward to in the spring and summer.
I'm calling it right now. Nütrl's Blackberry Lemonade, the drink of the summer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
2023.
That's
The MVP race is over.
Yeah, that's right. Check out Nütrl on Instagram at Nütrl, N-U-T-R-L. You can find Nütrl in stores, at your favorite bar, at your favorite live show in Houston, or learn more at NütrlUSA.com. Try Nütrl, the one with the umlaut. Interesting comment here in the stream team, Superluminal, saying if Embiid didn't dodge that Denver game, he would have been consensus MVP by a wide margin. He'll still win, but it's the only thing that made it close again. It's possible. Didn't help his, in terms of when you're getting into the nitty gritty, dodging that game, whatever, sitting out that game, and then losing to Giannis. Yeah.
I wish
Made it
I wish
closer.
we knew the pain threshold that Joel Embiid was going through. How much pain? Because would we still be calling it a dodge? It's kind of hard to say. Call it. Yes, that was the one game on this schedule that everybody was waiting for.
Yeah, we had it circled for weeks.
Sure. He had a good one the first one.
He did. He dominated the first one.
Yeah.
He was like, all right, that's good enough. Hopefully they remember that.
Yeah.
All right, last night's games quickly. There were 5 games on in total, really only 3 of note. Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero helped the Heat crush the 76ers 129-101. The Thunder beat the Jazz 114-98. They really helped their chances of getting into the play-in tournament, and we say goodbye to the Utah Jazz. They will not be in. And Chris Paul, he made 7 threes, career high, as the Suns beat the Jokic-less Nuggets in a little matchup there of 2 great teams in the Western Conference that we could see in a playoff series at some point. Suns improved to 8-0 when Kevin Durant is in the lineup. They have not lost yet. But again, Denver missing Jokic and all of their starters. They elected to sit. So any thoughts on any of these here?
They're dodging the Suns. I think that's clear, though. Michael Malone, some gamesmanship here. 2 games against the Phoenix Suns towards the end of the season where Kevin Durant was playing. Didn't play Jokic, and either of them didn't play a lot of guys last night. That could be a second-round matchup. We'll get to the standings. But obviously the Suns feeling good. 8-0. Hey, that's better than the Durant, Harden, Irving team. Those 3 guys had played 8 games going into the 21 playoffs together, and they did pretty well. Kyrie got hurt. Obviously, Harden was playing on half a hammy. Durant's shoe is a little bit smaller, and they go to the conference finals. Things change. So that they did do well, even though we think about the Brooklyn Nets as a team that didn't perform. Yeah. I can't wait to see the Suns. I don't think it really matters all that much about how many teams or how many games that they played together. So looking forward to them in the postseason. But Malone, gamesmanship for sure. OKC, yeah, they beat Utah. What a story.
Yeah.
It sure looks like they're going to be part of the play.
I want them in so bad.
You'd rather have them than the Dallas Mavericks, of course.
Yes.
People don't want those Mavs in. They control their destiny. They just got to beat the Memphis Grizzlies on Sunday. Mm-hmm. And of course, they should have won last night. The Jazz have so many injuries. Markkanen, Kessler, Clarkson, THT, Taylor Horton Tucker. And they're playing, Šamanić, a guy that they just signed to a long-term deal. Congrats to Luka Šamanić. That's a good move for him. But they're playing guys that didn't start the season in the NBA. They should win that game. I wonder what happens with Memphis on Sunday. How much do those guys play against OKC? So this is...
I wouldn't think much.
I wouldn't think much, even if Morant wants some run. Shouldn't be heavy minutes.
No.
OKC should win that game as well. So it's in their hands. The Mavs are not going to let them just lose and go into the postseason, I don't think, because the Mavs have a nice schedule themselves these next couple days, and they're playing like their lives are on the line. Mm-hmm. Just like the Heat were last night, who still have a shot at making the playoffs over the Brooklyn Nets. It's very, very, very unlikely. They're probably going to start in the play-in. They played phenomenally well yesterday. Strange seeing this fast-paced Heat when they're a slow-paced team, but against the Sixers, who were walking it up and really didn't give a crap last night. Let's be honest. I'm not sure why they were playing.
Yeah,
the Blue Coats are getting in there tonight. Mac McClung is getting in there tonight. We're going to be watching him on playback, but they didn't care to win that game. And on the other side, the zone worked against Embiid, I should say, and Kevin Love drew 4 charges. Kevin Love drew 4 charges. He's second in charges drawn this season. How about that? Anyway, no one should take much from those games.
The game was over in a hurry, unfortunately. That's a TNT game there too, the first one on their doubleheader. All right, well let's tee up the final regular season. You already sort of alluded to a couple of these races that are still to be determined. We got 48 hours to figure out the playoff matchups and the play-in matchups. We'll start in the East because all eyes are really on that race for the number 6 seed between the Brooklyn Nets and the Miami Heat. Brooklyn 44-36, Miami 43-37. They're one game back, but Brooklyn holds the tiebreaker. They swept the season series.
They did.
Against Miami. So Miami has to finish 2-0 here in their final 2 games, and they need Brooklyn to finish 0-2. Very unlikely.
Yep.
Brooklyn hosts the Magic tonight, 7:30. We'll probably catch a little bit of it on playback. While Miami plays the second night of a back-to-back in Washington. Look, they could win that. They should win that, Miami. But it comes down to they need Brooklyn to really shit the bed here in the final 2 games. They just got to win one. I would imagine Brooklyn's really going to try and get it done tonight against Orlando.
Yeah, they just have to win one of their last 2, and the second one is against Mac McClung and the Philadelphia 76ers on Sunday. They won't be playing their guys. I'll just go ahead and assume no Harden, no Embiid, and no Maxey, because he didn't even play last night.
Right.
So I assume that they should be able to win one of those 2.
Got to be careful with some of those G League guys or two-way guys or getting an opportunity.
There's no doubt.
You can't take them for granted. I mean, they can still
Absolutely
obviously
not.
catch fire. But I think Brooklyn...
The Nets play hard enough, though. I think they'll get a win. I don't even think the Heat are guaranteed to win tonight against the Wiz.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The only other Eastern Conference race to watch sort of this weekend is the 8th seed, right? Atlanta is 41-39, Toronto 40-40. They're one game back. But just like the Nets Heat situation, the Hawks hold the tiebreaker over Toronto, so Toronto has to finish 2-0. Atlanta needs to go 0-2. ATL hosts the Sixers tonight. Again, one of our games on playback. So if they win, they're good. They're going to have the 8th seed. Toronto plays in Boston for the second consecutive game, and they should have won the last one, blew that. So they just need some help with the Hawks somehow losing too. Hypothetically, though, let's just say, somehow, Atlanta loses tonight and Toronto wins. Sunday would see Atlanta in Boston and Toronto hosting the Bucks. Again, Toronto has to go 2-0. Hawks need to go 0-2 for Toronto to jump them into the 8th spot. Otherwise, it's going to be, very, very likely going to be Miami hosting the Hawks in the 7-8 matchup, Raptors hosting the Bulls in the 9-10 matchup. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that. I can't imagine you think that's going to happen where the Raps pass them.
It's unlikely.
Yeah.
But it is juicy to think that that's a possibility on Sunday, that those 2 games will be happening at the same time, Hawks, Celtics, and Bucks, Raptors, and the potential that the Raptors could jump into that 7-8 game. But it's very unlikely. Will they be scoreboard watching, running back down the floor after scoring a basket, just looking up, hoping that the Hawks are losing to the Celtics, who probably won't be playing a bunch of their guys. But the NBA did do a pretty good job scheduling things here down the stretch. Not a lot of races decided. I mean, it just so happens that that's how it's worked out. So it's been pretty fun, and that's why I'm excited to watch playback with my friends.
Yeah, there's a ton of games on tonight. Then there's only 3 games on tomorrow, on Saturday, and then everybody plays on Sunday. And you said it already on yesterday's show. Everybody either plays at 1 p.m. Eastern on Sunday or the 3:30 slot on Sunday. So for a lot of the West Coast teams.
It's a real NFL situation.
Absolutely. Western Conference, this one, everything's sort of still in flux when it comes to Clippers, Warriors, Lakers, Pelicans, all still within 1 game of each other. Now, the latter 3 teams there, the Warriors, Lakers, Pelicans, they all play tonight against higher-seeded teams that could be resting their starters. We'll find out. The Wolves, they are currently 1 game behind LA and New Orleans in that 7-8 play-in game spot. So they play the Pelicans on Sunday. That's a huge game, could be on Sunday, between the Wolves and the Pelicans in terms of seeding. Another game to watch for tonight, though, is Warriors at Kings. Could be fascinating. We've talked about it, that number 6 seed, sort of coveted. That's the seed you maybe want in the Western Conference because of Sacramento's inexperience in the 3rd seed there. They don't play a lot of defense. But if the Kings prefer a certain opponent, they could use this game tonight as an opportunity to sort of tilt the scales in whichever direction they would like. Again, they're hosting the Warriors. how badly do they try and send a message? You don't want us. How bad do they give the Warriors a win to try and help their case to not play them? Shenanigans could happen. It could. And it could also happen on Sunday when the Clippers play the Suns. Again, that would be the Suns as the 4 seed. Clippers right now the 5th seed. Who knows by Sunday where they are. But it could be this possibility where the Suns sort of get to determine, do we want to play the Clippers? Do we want to play someone else? How do we want to go about this? So those two specifically to me when we get into the bunch teams there in the West are ones to watch.
The Clippers, play the Suns Sunday. Excuse me, I had a little frog.
Yeah, your voice
frog
got
there.
insane there.
Kermit, what are you doing in there? So the Clippers, Suns, to me, the team that has the highest possibility of shenanigans, tie loose Clippers.
Yeah.
Because the Warriors, they want to win out. And just to reiterate what you said, I think they want to win out just to keep the Lakers back off them into the play-in tournament.
Sure.
So I think they finish 5.
You think the Warriors do?
Yeah,
So
they finish 5.
Suns Warriors round 1. Let's go.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
I think the Clippers' highest chance of Ty Lue saying, "Oh, I think we want to back off that 4-5 matchup. Let's lose Sunday, so we play the
Kings.
3rd-seeded Kings."
Which looks like it'll be the Kings, yeah.
Yeah, so that's I think there's some potential 3:30 Eastern shenanigans there. Clippers Suns. That would be my guess.
Okay. So
Just Ty Lue.
So take me through your prediction here. Warriors 5, Clippers 6. You think Lakers hold on to 7? Mm-hmm. And then is it Wolves, Pelicans?
Oh, there's too many teams there. I don't know.
Okay.
Down there. I don't know. What do you got for 7, 8, 9, 10?
You're right. It does. Who knows? The only other final race, if you want to call it that, will be the final play-in spot for the number 10 seed. It is still up for grabs. OKC 39-42, Dallas 38-42. They're a half game back. OKC though holds the tiebreaker thanks to their season series. So Dallas needs OKC to lose on Sunday to Memphis, a game that you just said, are the Grizzlies going to even be playing anyone? They'll probably be locked into the number 2 seed by that point.
Yes.
Dallas, they first got to beat the Bulls tonight. Not a given, but they're at home.
They're at home.
They should.
Yeah.
The Chicago can't even pass the Raptors, if I have that correctly. I think they are locked in to the 10th seed because of a tiebreaker there. But then Dallas hosts the Spurs on Sunday. So Dallas has to win both their games, and they need OKC to lose. Otherwise, they're not even in the play-in, which I can't believe is reality. That is 99% going to happen, I think.
Yeah, I was encouraged by the way they played Sacramento the other night. So I do think that they will scrap their way to 2 wins, but it's not in their hands anymore.
It's not in their hands, yeah. They just need to pray that OKC loses on Sunday. So that's the only other one. I think we've gone through them all. It's starting to take shape, but I think that Pelicans Wolves one is fascinating in terms of that will probably decide whether or not you're in the winner's side of the play-in or the losers, lose one game and you're out type of thing. One of those teams, let's say it will be hosting OKC, I think, come that 9-10 matchup.
Right.
Be it the Wolves or the Pelicans. And, scrappy team. OKC could do it. We'll find out.
Yeah, if you're the Pels, obviously you want to hang on to the 8th seed and be on that side of the bracket because you get 2 shots.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget how this thing works.
They could
You
even
get 2
move up
shots.
even more. New Orleans could, but they need a lot of the teams above them to really crap the bed. Mm-hmm. You ever crap the bed?
Are you serious right now?
I don't know. You've probably had a drunken weekend at a cottage or something.
Have you ever crapped the bed? I'm a grown man, Skeets. Of course.
Multiple times.
38 years ago. No. Have you? It was a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't ever crap the bed. Maybe crapped in your shorts. You've probably had that little scare.
No,
I know
I
Trey
don't.
has. He's told us that before.
Yeah. I'm lucky. I don't have that problem.
Didn't Trey? He was wearing white pants at a dinner in Vegas, or he had I don't know if he had an actual accident.
Yeah.
It was a fart.
I think it was
wrong.
very close
close
and dangerous, so he made an exit.
Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, that's right. He never came back to the table.
That's right.
I mean,
Well, I think he might have been, indisposed.
white pants.
He was a white outfit.
A white outfit.
Walking through the Cosmo and very gingerly.
Dressed like Matty-O as a cowboy that night. Let's get to worst of the week.
Ladies and gentlemen, the worst of the week.
How about that conversation? Is that a nominee? the New Orleans Pelicans, we just talked about them. They're in the play-in tournament picture, but they get the worst of the week. No nominations necessary. I went through the possible nominees. The Cuban discussion, where he went on television to say, we messed up the Jalen Brunson scenario, but I ain't taking any sort of account for that. It's all on his dad. We talked about that yesterday.
Yeah.
Definitely a good nominee, but it was between him and then this New Orleans Pelicans press release that came out yesterday.
Uh-oh.
The press release, for a few reasons, how it was written, why it was written at all, and what it means for the Pelicans. So I'll just read it to you. It's not that long. The Zion Williamson medical update for immediate release. Got to release this immediately. April 6, 2023. It's going to be juicy, right? Well, here it is. New Orleans Pelicans Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations David Griffin announced the following update on forward Zion Williamson. After further evaluation, it has been determined that Zion Williamson will continue his rehabilitation and conditioning regimen. We will continue to monitor his progression, and updates will be provided as warranted. That's it! He's going to keep working out. Why was it released at all? Why was it worded that way? Tell us something.
I know.
Usually,
They are not explaining anything when it comes to this.
so why put it out at all?
Yeah.
Because even last week,
For the betters.
why? Well, the bettors know that he's not playing.
Oh, they just need to. They want to know how to set that line
Oh, that
for that 9-10
He
matchup.
hasn't played.
7-8 matchup.
He hasn't played. Is it January 2nd? It's been a friggin' long time. So 3 months. There's no way he's coming back anytime soon after that update. Last week's, hopefully they're duping us here, because last week's was
They're not, man.
Last week's
you
was
keep
smart.
holding out hope for months that he's coming back. I keep telling you he's not.
Well, yeah, of course. I'm always gonna hope.
I know.
I'm always gonna hope to see Zion Williamson out there with his haircut. But I just hold out hope, because why put this out at all? It really makes no sense after last week saying he's playing 3-on-3, and now in the NBA, usually in press releases, we hear about how many guys are on the floor when he's practicing. So this one didn't even include that. That's why I'm a little confused.
Oh, yeah.
He ain't even playing 3-on-3 anymore? Why not? How about that? He's playing 3-on-3, or he's 4-on-4, or he's 5-on-5. There's no progression. Basically, I guess Griffin threw it out there because without saying it, he's saying he's not playing.
That's
For a
exactly
long
what this
period of
translation
time.
is. Ziller nailed it. He's not playing. He's not getting surgery, at least that we know. But we are not going to explain a damn thing, really, when it comes to what the setback is, what's holding him from off the floor, despite being a team that's going to play. They have locked in a play-in spot, and they're trying to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, that's
it.
That seems like the translation.
That is the translation.
The weird thing is, they released one. I say it was last week. Maybe it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Time flies here. Yeah, I was on vacation for 1 week. For me, it was last week, but it was a couple weeks ago. In that he's playing 3-on-3. He's ramping up. The most fun phrase in terms of NBA injuries right now, but he ain't even ramping up on this press release. So, yes, it looks very bleak. We just basically it's the injury report is, man, we don't know what's happening. That's the way the Pelicans are leading us on to believe
That's
that
the
they
real,
don't know what's happening,
well, or they know and
they just don't want to reveal it whatsoever.
That's the real concern. It's like, okay, you've elected to shut him down here for the rest of the season, give like no hope that he's coming back to either your team or your fan base or whatever. But like, what is really going on, and how serious is it or not? We just then, like, if we get these type of releases, press releases, it's like, how can you not go, God, this is not good. You just said it. I thought he was ramping up. I thought he was playing.
So just say
so
nothing.
What happened?
So just say nothing. I think it's smarter. People are yes, may be curious, but you said that they are ramping up 2 weeks ago, or that he is ramping up 2 weeks ago. So now Shams did some research behind the scenes, and he has reported that it's unlikely that he'll return for next week's play-in tournament because it just ain't happening. So yes, I think we all sort of figured that, and now, according to sources, that's what's happening. So
I mean, this would be a slick move from David Griffin and the Pelicans if they throw this out there and suddenly next week the 7-8 matchup or whatever, Lakers Pelican. Oh God, that's Zion Williamson's music.
Exactly.
I mean, but it's not happening.
No, it's unlikely.
He's not playing. But they won't tell us really why.
I just feel that there's that slim possibility that David Griffin is
He's duping us.
is a writer for SmackDown because, yeah, it feels like, why on earth would you put this out unless you want to dupe everyone? It just feels like such a nothing burger that there's got to be some sort of grain of reason. Why? What's the nugget out there? They just don't know, unfortunately, and just say it. Unless they go deep into the postseason, there's very little chance he comes back for the first round, even. Yeah. I imagine.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Zion again this year, unfortunately.
But it is unfortunate because they're playing really well, and they would be a decent matchup for the Nuggets, I would think.
If he was in there.
Yeah, if they make it through the play-in tournament, I think they would be a solid matchup. They were a solid matchup for the Suns last year without Zion. Solid matchup for the Grizzlies, even. That's why it really sucks.
I don't think we're going to see him, but there you go. Worst of the week for that little short press release.
That was short.
That we still turned into a 10-minute segment. Doesn't matter how short it is. We're going to take our final break. When we come back, we got a tweet of the night, and we got rapid fire fun. Don't go anywhere.
It's getting hot here in Atlanta. Tried to play pickleball last night. Brutal. Dripping with sweat.
Ugh.
Luckily, Bombas is here to save the day with a brand new promo code for No Dunks. Bombas has the better basics that take sweat wicking, blister preventing, friction-free movement very seriously. Bombas are designed for every activity: running, golfing, yoga, etc. Hold on, no pickleball listed here. Get out of here, golf. Let's try that again. Running, pickleball, yoga, etc., and made with performance and comfort innovations, soft, breathable materials. And shout out to Bombas because they give back to those in need with every single purchase. Socks, underwear, t-shirts are the number 1, 2, and 3 most requested items in homeless shelters. That's why for every comfy item you purchase, Bombas donates another comfy item to someone experiencing homelessness. That's pretty cool. I thought it was just socks, but no, it's underwear and t-shirts, so I like that. The performance socks are made with technically advanced features like proprietary Hex Tech, which incorporates sweat-wicking yarns. Go head-to-toe with Bombas, which is exactly what I'm going to do out on the pickleball court, in lightweight t-shirts designed to feel cool against your skin, underwear so airy and breathable you may forget you're wearing any, and socks designed to make every workout more comfortable. Bombas are a gym bag staple that are made to last, and listen to this, if they experience wear and tear, Bombas will replace them for life.
Wow.
Right? Bombas 100% happiness guarantee means you're covered for life. Reach out anytime to their happiness team for easy returns, exchanges, or replacements. Go to bombas.com/nodunks and use code NODUNKS for 20% off your first purchase. That's bombas.com/nodunks and use code NODUNKS at checkout.
All right, confirmation from our guy TK, who is in the stream team. He's on vacation in Florida with the fam, but he did respond, I didn't poop my pants in Vegas. All right?
From the source.
I apologize if I made it sound like you had crapped yourself, but you left the table and never returned. But I believe you, because you're an honest man. And I think you have shared a story where you have pooped your pants before, if I remember correctly. Anyway.
Well, we got a Paul Pierce type investigation. You know, people investigate Paul Pierce.
That's right.
Where was that smear? What was that smear?
Yeah. Do you think Paul Pierce did it?
I would say no.
Really? I think I go, yeah. There's no shame. There's a little shame, but as a grown man, maybe. But
he was the first guest on Michelle's "What Did I Miss" podcast,
right,
where we talked in depth about it, and he was very adamant about not pooping his pants. But then I started seeing him talk about it on various other
things.
Like
switched his story.
He switches stories. See, the thing is, like, when there's just consistently new information about why he definitely didn't poop his pants, that really makes you think he must have pooped his pants because he can't even stay consistent with it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay, Trey is confirming he left before it happened. in Vegas. So he made it probably to the John. And he did say, I have pooped my pants a lot, but not that specific time. So there we go. And see, that's what you do. Like, come on, Paul Pierce. Like, take some notes from TK. Just get your story straight. Get your poop story straight.
I think the next move for Paul is talking about other times he's pooped his pants to really like make this one not seem as prominent.
Okay.
He's like, I've pooped my pants before as an adult. It just wasn't this time. I think that's the best defense.
That's the best move.
Yeah.
People will immediately stop talking about that time and get it on the back.
He does it all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess it's not a big deal. Okay, let's get to tweet of the night.
Tweet of the night. Wow. Twitter.
Tweet of the night comes from the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets released their 23-24 City Edition uniform, created by artist Cause. Knicks, we see your kith and we'll raise you a cause. So here we go. Unfortunately, this is visual, but I'll try and explain it as best as I can. So these Nets jerseys, primarily black, but then here comes a bunch of color. Swaths of color.
It's very Cause-like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very prominent color below the Nets font, which is, what would you call it, Jerome? Very, very,
It's got like
kid-like game.
It's like bubbly.
Yeah.
His
abstract.
cartoon-like.
The Nets font itself is very much like Cause's art. It's not shown in what we're seeing here, but above the shorts there's a double X, which is a common mark
On the
for
waistband,
artists.
yeah.
On the waistband.
And so the colors really, I mean, you can say they're, camouflagey if you want. Really, there's a couple. Looks
It's a graffiti-ish style.
Do we like these?
I mean, graffiti-ish style. Like, I think it's more like you see a couple colors.
Or like maybe wall mural art type.
Because it's not. They just look like big blabs of color.
Yeah, I used to draw those all the time when I was in grade school. They're 3D bubble letters.
It's like a multicolored camouflage almost, kind of like in how like bubbly it is.
Yeah, I said we were going to do a good job of explaining it, but it's really difficult to explain it.
We're starting to describe it like it's a Magic
Here, I'll
Eye
help
poster.
out. They look like shit.
Yeah, they're
There
sort
you
of
go.
Flintstone-y,
Yeah. He's a cool artist. It's great, but these are brutal jerseys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he makes cartoon character. Like he makes characters.
The Cause companion.
And so this makes it. I don't know. It's very different.
Do you like
Would
it?
you like more than the Basquiat jerseys that they've done? I know I'm comparing artists.
I don't.
Same.
Yeah, the Basquiat jerseys.
I mean, they're very
did
minimal,
nothing
those
for me.
ones, but I just there's
The shorts are cool.
there's a
What always
conflicting-
happens
there's a
is the shorts are always
conflicting
cool.
design.
I do like the shorts.
Yeah, the shorts are cool.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we usually look at the jersey when it comes to basketball players. There's like a conflicting design between all the elements to me. This weird, colorful camouflage, and then this bubble lettering, which I really hate, and then the normal 23 lettering. No.
That there is a contrast on that, especially because like also the Nets lettering has its like shadow behind it, whereas it's like a flat number over there.
Well, maybe they released it here in April. Because I do find the timing slightly odd. I guess they want to sell them over the summer. But maybe they release them now, get some feedback, and change that. I think.
Sort of
Are
think
we
you're
a focus
right,
group?
Cass.
Is that
I
what-
think
Yeah.
they dropped
Why
these
not?
now because they were like, are these that great?
You have to have.
Just get them out now, and then people won't be as upset at the start of next year when they all start dropping.
I am curious about the other parts around it, just knowing its cause behind it. But I think I just sent to JD on Chromecast, like. Cause is very known for these very large displays and of its character. I wonder if they're going to do something like this around Barclays Center, which could be kind of cool to see.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, like that right there is in Taipei. That's an 11-foot tall statue.
I can get Joel to go see it if you want.
Yeah. But apart from that,
Hold on.
11
That's only
foot.
11 foot tall.
Yeah,
that's
that
what
doesn't
they
make sense.
explained.
It's like
11 story tall.
Yeah,
that's what
okay.
I meant to say. Yeah, way different. Way different.
Like,
Those are
is this a
is it a
town
Lego
for
set?
ants?
That wasn't the Canadian failing to understand the imperial system. That 11 story tall is what I meant to say. But yeah, I think like the overall thing around, like I've known Cause simply because of this figure, like seeing it that way. So I think I was more excited about hearing about it, and then really it was not until now that I like looked deeply into the actual like jerseys itself, which are very much Cause. I think if you're into that, then like you might be a fan of it, but I do understand like all the points about it.
Here's my one issue is besides, and we didn't see it there, besides the double X on the waistband.
Sure.
I think if you had shown me those jerseys and go, which artist made this, I would no way be able to tell you that was cause.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think a majority.
the Nets lettering might be one.
Maybe, but like, how are
yeah.
the like what are they the bones or whatever like.
How
that
those
figure's
incorporated?
Head, how are
Yeah.
those not incorporated?
Yeah, that's
but that might
that's
be
a good
something
point.
where the league is like, we don't want, a dead
They're
skull
probably
or,
limits
I don't
to.
know.
Yeah.
I do agree with you, Skeets. They just shouldn't make
It would be cool if it came out of the
numbers.
Brooklyn Ball logo. If the bones came out of that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that would have
How
been
are the
really
bones
cool.
not included?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, the fonts, I don't get why they're not uniform.
Yeah.
So we have notes, is what
We
we're
got
saying.
notes.
Yeah.
Anyway, maybe
Notes
you
for
like
the
these.
Nets. And the blue lines, it feels like you're using your finger, you fat finger it while you're on your iPhone and you're just drawing a line. Like, it looks like the blue lines are just smeared on there.
There is potential here, and it happens with like a lot of jerseys that come out where sometimes like the design is so intricate and has deeper meaning, but like it needs to be explained for it to like actually make sense. But I kind of lean in the boat of like needs to pass the eye test first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's yeah.
We shouldn't have to read like a 10-page document
Right,
to go,
right.
oh, wow, this is a cool jersey. It's like...
Tass mentioned the blue lines. It's like if they start explaining what they are, like, oh, I get it. But then, if it's not like kind of obvious, I think that's... Yeah.
It's also difficult to just get intricate on a jersey. There's just not a lot of canvas,
It's not 11 stories, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap up this Drop podcast with some rapid fire fun. Tass has the questions, we've got the answers. Let's do it.
Here we go. A Kings fan fulfilled his preseason promise of getting a Mike Brown tattoo if the team had a good season. The tattoo is Mike Brown's infectious, smiling face.
That is accurate and terrifying.
Yeah.
It sort of looks like Thanos a little bit, though.
With the purple.
The purple.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, it's done real big on the fan's leg, and it is a really, really, really well done tattoo by that tattoo artist. It looks identical to Mike Brown.
Doesn't the purple actually hurt? Because didn't Mike Brown used to get compared with Grimace?
Oh, you're right.
You're right.
Way back in the day.
What purple are you guys talking about?
Like the purple in the tattoo, it's sort of black, but it almost looks purple.
It's got a little bit of a shade
purple
to it,
hue.
feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little King's hue.
Yeah.
That tattoo's going to be completely covered in hair in about 6 months, because look at
Yeah,
that
look
Yeah,
hair
the guy's a
look what's
hairy,
around it.
Huh?
hairy
on the
dude.
calf.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah, he's got a wax.
It's like that leg is wearing a wig.
All right, the question here off this tattoo: whose toothy grin would you consider getting inked on your body, and why, Skeets?
Well, he's actually just behind my guy JD. He's peering over his shoulder, and that is one Jeff Probst. Sure, that'll help my chances to get on the show. Imagine if I had a Probst tattoo. It's like, Jeff would love that, I think.
Yes.
I mean, I really should consider this. I think.
Would you want that warm smile or more of a manic, like toothy? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
Has he
there's
ever
a-
smiled?
a lot
Does
of options?
Jeff?
Yeah, he smiles. He smiles, but you're right.
Yeah, I guess he does.
I just looked at it more like, which face am I going with? So
You went face.
I'll
Yeah,
go Jeff
okay.
Probst from Survivor.
wow.
Yeah, and you went with function. I get it. All right. Okay.
Exactly.
JD, what do you got?
Yeah, mine's Survivor related as well, but I wanted to go more terrifying.
Okay.
And I'm going with, I got the wrong thing. But, Jamie? Jamie, the current
contestant?
From Survivor 44, yes.
This is her just smiling in a normal conversation.
She does have a
Just
toothy
like-
grin.
Yeah.
She's just the type of person who her body cannot contain her emotions at all.
Yeah.
And she's constantly smiling, and then when she actually wants to smile, it turns into this very incredible.
It's almost like what you tell like a 6-year-old in a school photo to smile.
That's right.
And it's like that's how they smile.
Encourage them to show all your teeth
Yeah.
and get her. And it's slightly terrifying. So
Okay, Jamie.
yeah, Jamie.
we got matching Survivor tattoos.
Yeah, you can tell when we write these questions and when you guys are thinking about them because you guys are fresh off recording No Buffs.
Cass, we're always thinking about Survivor.
All right, Jerome, we've got 2 Survivor picks. We've got Jeff Probst's face and Jamie, contestant 44's pick. What's your pick?
I stayed in the NBA realm. As you guys know from Slacks, anytime a potential narrative comes around this player, I'm so biased I try to pitch it. It's Kawhi Leonard.
Yes, you do.
Oh,
Okay.
Kawhi.
I'm going with it. And there are a couple, like, we all know Kawhi, usually the stoic look, so a smile is very rare, but when it happens, it becomes newsworthy at that point. We all know the famous laugh at the Raptors presser. I believe it was a moment during the Raptors championship run where he just, like, had, like, the smallest grin.
Yes.
There was that there. So there are a lot of different options that way. And so, Kawhi. That would,
Where are you putting it? Back, leg, arm, neck?
I think it's probably like an arm situation, you know?
Yeah.
Just the kind of thing that, like, when summer hits and you're in a tank and you just want to let everyone know you're a fun guy.
Okay. Great answer.
Nice fun guy inclusion right at the end there. All right. Next one. This week, the NBA rejected the protest filed by the Mavericks centered around an inbound during a loss to the Warriors in March. It was destined to fail from the start, but Cubesy couldn't help himself. What's something you did that you knew was pointless, but you did it anyways? Skeets.
Yeah, this one's a bit of a strange one, but we have like a small little flower garden in our front yard, and it does well here in Atlanta. Obviously, we get a lot of rain, a lot of sunshine, but what happened this winter, you guys know, having lived here, we got like a cold streak.
Yeah.
A below freezing
I had to
streak
put on pants.
that lasted days, and it did a number on a lot of these flowers and things we had planted there. And specifically, we had a gigantic rosemary bush that was incredible. We would actually use it in a ton of cooking and stuff like
Nora
that. And
likes her
that
rosemary.
thing grows insane. Like, you cut a rosemary bush back, it'll like sprout off another 3 different directions. But it appeared to have died in the winter of 2023 here in Atlanta. But we were like, it'll come back. So I did some trimming. But I knew the whole time I was trimming it back, I'm like, this is dead. Like, she knew it too, but we were just like crossing our fingers. It's still there, a giant dead rosemary bush. So now I just gotta straight up dig it out. So I just put all this work into like trimming it back. Hopefully that'll encourage it to, like, once the weather gets nicer, but it's not coming. Other things have rebounded. Not this rosemary.
Is it brown or all the branches brown?
Yeah, it's just dead. Like, it's just dead. There's no life.
You never know.
I know.
You never know.
That's what we were holding out hope, but I know, Tass. This is like Zion,
late.
man.
It's
He
a
ain't
little
coming
late.
back.
Yeah,
My
it's a
rosemary
little
bush
late.
is not coming back. I'm digging it out this weekend. Hell, maybe later today.
No, make a tombstone, put it in front there, leave it there forever. The rosemary bush.
Okay.
2022 to 2023.
We'll
All
get
right.
another one.
Okay, JD, something you knew was pointless.
Yeah, I'm very anal about my tea, my making hot tea.
Yeah.
And I used to, because my mom used to do this, I would rinse the tea bag. So I would put my tea bag into the pot or the cup, and then I would put a little bit of boiling water on it, swirl it around, and toss it out. And Rachel was like, "What are you doing? Like, this is a waste of time. It doesn't do anything." I'm like, "Yes, it does. For some reason, I had it in my head that there was like tea dust. You know what I mean?
Maybe a long time ago. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I think that my mom, she used to do it all the time. Like, she would swirl it and then just dump a little bit of it and then fill up the pot. But she fucking threw me under the bus when Rachel was like, "Do you rinse your tea bags?" To my mother.
Yeah.
She's like, "No, why would I do that?"
So how did you get this in your head that this was a thing she did?
Well, I saw her do it as a kid. She definitely did it. What I'm saying is she's lying.
Oh.
She's lying that she didn't do it. And yes, back in the day, I think maybe there was a little bit of fine tea. You know, it was just a habit I was in. I've gotten out of the habit. So my PG tips, I just pour the water in. I still won't allow Rachel to make me a cup of tea because she's terrible at it. Like,
She's terrible at making a cup of tea?
I know, yeah, it sounds
Wow,
weird.
that's
It sounds
really weird.
Jackson's with me. He will only allow me to make him tea.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know JD was a member of the royal family.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I guess so.
Very, very hoity-toity.
It's got his roots. You're anal about your teeth. I thought you were going to say you're anal about your teeth because you're also anal about your teeth.
Pretty anal about my teeth, yeah. I got a lot of compliments from my dentist yesterday.
Yeah, you just went, I was going to say. Yeah.
Great hygiene. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Humble
Very
brag.
stained from all the fucking
From tea,
I drink.
yeah.
But they're clean and, yeah. So
Good.
that's great.
All right, Jerome.
JD inspired me last minute to switch up my answer just in talking about how he prepared things. But I started remembering that whenever I would microwave things, I would refuse to use a round number. So it would never be a 10-second, 20-second, 30-second. It would always have to be, if possible, 11.
Wow.
12.
Wow.
13, 14.
Adrian Williams from Peloton.
For no reason whatsoever.
That's a weird one.
It's a weird one, and it's pointless completely, but I'll do it. I'll insist on it.
So you will not even, like, if you're going to pop popcorn in
Sure.
the microwave,
If
you
it
won't
recommend-
even hit the popcorn thing, or obviously 2 or 3
Oh.
minutes. You'll put, like, 247.
That sounds like a great number to use.
That's a good
That's a
number.
great suggestion.
That sounds
Thank
like
you.
a nice
Yeah.
sweet spot, actually. Okay.
Yeah, but then you lose out on being able to touch the one-touch minute button too, which is
Fair enough.
quite handy. Right. Okay, good stuff. Next one. Larry Markkinen will return to his native Finland during the offseason in order to complete mandatory military service, according to reports. Yes, this is true. As Jerome said on Thursday's show, that's why they call him the finisher. He's got to finish the job. What's something you've been meaning to finish? Skeets.
The last season of Better Call Saul.
Oh,
Okay.
same actually.
Okay.
So we watched it when it first started airing, then we fell off. Nora and I just stopped watching it for whatever reason. It is a great show. Recently, maybe months ago, we're like, let's get caught up again, and let's watch it all. So we power through it. It's incredible. It's amazing. It
great.
might be better than Breaking Bad.
It is better.
It's
than
so
Breaking
good.
Bad.
But what happened was we got caught up, and there was one final season, and we didn't have whatever service it was on,
Yeah.
whatever subscription platform it was on. And it drove me nuts because I feel like we have everything. We have so many of these goddamn TV subscription services, but we
Yeah.
didn't have Better Call Saul. So we just were like, well, it just felt wrong. We're like, I can't get another one just to watch this. Let's just wait it out. Nora told me last night when I was writing these answers, she said, good news, because she checked. Better Call Saul, final season, becomes available on Netflix on April 18th.
Yeah.
So we
Damn.
waited it out,
Yeah.
and it's going to work perfectly. And been meaning to finish it, and I can't
Nice.
wait to power through the last
I
season.
think that happens with a lot of series. You just wait it
Oh,
out.
yeah.
They just
Yeah.
they'll float onto your service one day.
I forget where it was or what weird thing it was on, but it was incredibly one of the ones we didn't have.
Hulu?
I know.
Might have been like AMC.
Yeah, I think it was something like AMC Plus or
Yeah.
something.
It's the kind of thing that also takes you out completely. Streaming service will put out most of the seasons except one or two, or the most recent, and it takes you completely off your rhythm and game that it's difficult to get back into it.
I know. But we're pumped. We're ready. April 18th, I was like, yeah, let's go. That's like right around the corner.
It takes you out of your rhythm or game. I like that. It's like you're a basketball player.
Yes, it's really
TV
getting back to
watching.
the sports podcast.
Oh, you're right. I mean, we're gonna
Yeah.
be rusty coming in. I think I remember most of everything. But
Yeah, it'll
be a
come back
recap.
to you.
There'll be a recap. People do great jobs on YouTube. Recap, getting you ready.
All right, JD, what's something you've been meaning to finish?
Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. So I've played all the Uncharted games on the PS4. I have The Lost Legacy. I've started it. It's great, but then the season started, and I just don't play video games during the season.
Wow.
So, that's it. Same makers of Last of Us, and I have dipped back in replaying The Last of Us. It's there. It's also the last one. It's the last Uncharted. So I'm sort of savoring it, kind of, but also. Yeah, I just haven't played it.
How long will it take you?
Oh, days.
Days.
I suck at video games. Yeah.
Oh.
So
How many games have there been in the series?
I think this is 5.
Holy.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And you completed the other 4.
completed all
Oh,
4.
Jesus,
Yeah.
Look at you.
But this is a different character. Uncharted 4, 1 through 4, follows Nathan Drake, and there's an ending in 4,
Oh.
and then
It's almost like a spin-off.
this is it is a spin-off. But it's same mechanics, characters from the game.
So at some point when the playoffs are over,
This summer I'm gonna finish it. But now I'm like, should I get just a PS5? And if I do that, I'll go back and play the re-release of Last of Us, the original.
oh god,
I
do
got a
that.
problem. I got a problem.
you'll get there, man.
All right, take us home, Jerome. Something you've been meaning to finish.
Again, inspired by being in the Classic Factory and looking around, there are a number of different prints that I just need to frame and put up.
Framing, man. It'll get you.
It gets you. And when I moved into my place, set a bunch up, it was great. But then once I got new items, it's just hard to get back. You're again off my rhythm and game of
Yeah.
interior decorating.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard.
Do you rotate? Do you ever rotate things in and out?
No. Oh my
No.
gosh. Now.
That's a thing my wife has done before, which I found a little perplexing, but I don't mind it.
Right.
It's like, we've had this piece of art for a while, like
Just
this
mix it
photo
up.
or whatever.
I get that.
switch it
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Because then you don't got to buy a new frame. You just got to print it.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Well,
I mean, limited wall space as it is, I'm sure.
fair enough. Yeah. I think get the current ones up, but then start building that rotation out. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's when you know you got a good job. Money's coming in. You can frame
right.
things. I'm
Frames
telling
are
you.
expensive.
I'm telling you.
Frames are crazy
That's
expensive.
when you know you're like, all right, I'm feeling pretty good about where I am professionally,
Right.
and then the money coming in, because otherwise,
I do the same
It's too
thing.
damn
I just
expensive.
look up the frames, like an actual framing service, and then go straight to IKEA and pick up those afterwards.
Go to Goodwill. I'm telling you, Rachel.
Oh, that's
just,
good.
That's a good call.
They have framed pictures. You just grab them, $7, and then hopefully they're the right size.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But you'd be amazed at what you find.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of standard sizes.
Yeah.
So, Goodwill.
Okay.
Good tip.
there it is. Rapid fire questions, rapid fire answers. Hopefully another classic edition of the drop. You tell us though. Let us know wherever you download and listen to this No Dunks podcast. Leave your boys a 5-star rating and review. Thanks to everybody that joined us live here on YouTube, not only today but all week long and every day. Subscribe. Make sure you hit that like button and join us tonight. Playback 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We will probably start Sixers Hawks, but we will be jumping around. There's a million games on, so come kick it on a Friday night. You know, we'll be having a drink or two on a Friday as we kick back and watch some NBA action. And we'll get that link in the show notes, and we'll make sure to tweet it and all that. You sign up for a free account with Playback, and then you just log in with whatever TV subscription you have, be it League Pass, Hulu, YouTube TV, whatever you watch NBA content, and then you can see the game. Some of you are even crazy where you don't even watch the game. Like, you can just come and hear us and sort of see us, I guess, in our little bubbles talk about the game. It's a lot more fun if you can watch the games, but hey, maybe you don't got that framing money.
But at the same time, you can just listen to the audio, watch the game on another device.
Lots of options.
Right? Listen to the baseball broadcast at the game. You know, it's a nice little treat to have. You said you have hardcore no buffs followers. Well, we've got some hardcore playback followers. Because yesterday I started up a stream.
Randomly that I jumped over there and I saw that Masters was on and that the room was live.
Well, I was just testing some things out,
Okay.
and people just immediately jumped on. I guess they got an alert, jumped
That's
on
cool.
over. Yeah. So we'll keep you up to tabs. It's fun. It is fun. And can Koepka win it? Can Brooks Koepka do it?
What about Rom?
I heard Rob is doing
He
all
did
right.
well. I think he had a brutal first hole too, and he rebounded. I think he maybe had a bogey on the first hole.
Unfortunately, Tiger not playing well.
No. He was in. He might make the cut. I think he's +2. I think the
Plus
cut's gonna be
2.
probably +3.
It's not good enough.
We get Tiger on the weekend.
Oh, that'd be nice. He's dragging his leg around.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway.
We'll see. The weather's gonna change here in Georgia. If not today, tomorrow, it's gonna have an impact on the Masters.
Oh, we're gonna have a rain delay on playback. Have to fill some time.
All right. We could do it. If anybody can do it, we could. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. Again, we'll see you tonight on Playback. Otherwise, make sure you subscribe on YouTube and the podcast feeds, because now that we get closer to the playoffs here, you never know when an emergency podcast or a little mini recap podcast is going to drop. So just subscribe, and then you'll know. Until we see you next time, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And just check the leaderboard. It's Koepka.
Wow.
A liver. He's a live guy.
Oh, yeah.
Not his kidney. Not his kidney. I'm not talking about his organs.
Okay.
Yeah, he's might do it. It's
gonna be
3-stroke lead right now.
A lot of
It's
golf.
exciting. You
lot of
guys
golf
watch
to play.
every show. You've watched Breakpoint. Have you watched Full Tilt, Full Swing?
No.
I
that's good.
absolutely have. I thought it was
That's good.
amazing.
Yeah.
Started terribly slow, I thought. I was like the first episode, or I was like, really? I just wasn't into it.
It was really good.
Went back to it, though. I almost cried 3 episodes in a row.
Jeez.
I was like in tears. There's a couple
I didn't
pulling at the
finish watching
heartstring.
it.
Oh, yeah, it gets really good at the end.
When Brooks Koepka goes to live.
I don't care about him. All that. No, there's a bunch of
I'm
other
kidding.
golfers where you're like, oh, you're suddenly rooting for them. And anyway,
Yeah, it's great.
You want to watch it on Playback?
Yeah.
We will be doing everything on Playback from here on out. Guys, have a great weekend. See you tonight. Embrace the day, people.